At the age of 16, I was grown. I was one of them kids, you couldn't tell me anything. I was grown. I thought I was. About at the age of 14, I started sneaking out of the house, and I met a man. He was 47 years old. I was a baby, I'd already dropped out of school, got pregnant, and I left his house walking. I left my daughter there with him. I just walked away. So I caught up with some old high school friends, the bad boys, so to speak. That's when I was introduced to crack cocaine. At that point, I didn't know nothing about the addiction process. I really thought that I was all right getting high. But this stuff would make you you would sell your own child for more. It's just that crazy. By then, I was in full addiction. And that's when I started hitting the streets. My total incarceration time is like 8 years in prison. I went up for parole, and I didn't have nowhere to go. No family, no nothing. I had lost my mom and dad while in prison, and I really was by myself. I didn't have nobody. That was a turning point. I vowed right then that I was going to become somebody. In other words, I quit playing then. Not a few months after that, I got another parole date. The project coordinator here was having a class out there. So I went out there to it. And she was talking about the AIM Service Center. And I told her that I've been trying to find somewhere to go. I said, I don't have a home plan. And she said, would you be willing to come to our house? I said, yes, of course I would. She said, I'm going to have you out of here next week. I walked out of there with a pack of roll-up cigarettes that someone gave me, one sports bra. I didn't even have any socks. I had nothing. She took me upstairs, and when I walked in here, the bed was full of clothes. My whole dresser was full, and I just sat there on the bed and cried and cried and cried. And she was like, what are you crying for? I said, I'm just so grateful. I don't think I've ever had any new clothes since I left home. And she said, this is what we're here for. You're going to be fine. They helped me so much as far as regaining my self-worth back. I didn't have no IDs, no birth certificate, social security card. I didn't have anything like that. They paid for me to get my birth certificate. And that kind of gave me that sense of self to where, hey, I'm becoming somebody now. I'm going to be somebody today.